Shana Tova. Rosh Hashanah is a holiday of many names. It is Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. It is Yom HaZikaron, the day of remembrance. And it is Yom Teruah, the day of the shofar blasts. Just as this holiday has many names, Judaism has always been a tradition of many voices. It treasures debate, preserves disagreement, and locates holiness in unexpected places. From the very beginning, Jewish tradition has resisted uniformity. The Torah records multiple creation stories, multiple covenants, and even 2 different versions of the 10 Commandments. The rabbis of the Talmud cherished disagreement so much that they recorded not only the winning arguments, but the losing ones alongside, insisting Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim Chaim. Both these and these are the words of the living God. The rabbis tell a story in the Talmud, tractate Baba Metzia. Rabbi Eliezer brings forth every proof imaginable to defend his interpretation of the laws pertaining to a particular kind of oven. He goes so far as to even call upon a heavenly voice. The voice declares, "Why do you dispute with Rabbi Eliezer, seeing as though the law always agrees with him?" The other rabbis, however, stand their ground and say, quoting this past week's very Torah portion, "Lo bashamayim hi." The Torah is not in heaven. Torah is not found in one booming declaration. Torah is found in human conversation, in debate, in the clashing of perspectives. As Reconstructionists, we take this even further. Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan defined Judaism as the evolving religious civilization of the Jewish people. Just as Torah is in our hands to own, learn, interpret, teach, and reinterpret in every generation, so is Judaism itself. Judaism evolves because our world and our lives continue to evolve. And sometimes, especially in moments of deep polarization and division, the evolutionary process becomes painful. But as our texts over and over again teach, disagreements, even deep and fundamental ones, are not flaws in Jewish life. They are its engine. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot teaches every machloket, every argument or debate that is for the sake of heaven, will endure. Which arguments are for the sake of heaven? The disputes of Hillel and Shammai. Which are not? The rebellion of Korach. The difference is that the ongoing machloket between Hillel and Shammai, 2 first-century rabbis who butted heads over everything from the correct way to light Hanukkah candles to whether it was ever okay to lie. In, for instance, the moment of telling a bride that she's beautiful on her wedding day, no matter what. These were out of the love of Torah and a pursuit of truth, while the machloket brought by Korach, a member of the tribe of Levi who challenged Moses' authority to lead the people, was about ego and greed. Unfortunately, our society today seems caught in something that looks far more like Korach than like Hillel and Shammai. We live in a deeply polarized America. We have embraced, maybe it's too strong a word, we've at least accepted a culture in which more often people talk past one another than to one another. We see it in politics, where compromise has become a dirty word, and winning matters more than governing. We see it in the media, where algorithms reward outrage over nuance, and the loudest voices drain out the wisest ones. We see it in our families, where holiday tables and family gatherings become divided by politics, where even within a family, some feel fear around speaking out loud about what they believe. And even deeper than political polarization, is moral polarization, a question of whose voices we are willing to hear in society and whose voices we are willing to erase. How do we transform the culture of Machloket? How do we pull ourselves back from the divisiveness of Korach to the productive dispute of Hillel and Shammai? How do we re-embrace the deeply Jewish tradition of sacred disagreement? So let's look at this within the context of the Jewish community in particular, where disagreement doesn't feel so sacred either. Ezra Klein, in his essay and podcast, which many of you I know have either listened to or read, Why American Jews No Longer Understand One Another, Klein points out that the consensus which once bound American Jews is breaking. The assumption that supporting Israel was synonymous with Jewish safety, the hope of a two-state solution, the belief that Zionism and liberal democracy could easily fit together, these pillars that once held us up together no longer feel solid. It is so hard. In our families, many of us fear bringing up Israel or politics or identity because we don't want to wound. Some feel silenced, others feel judged. Institutions like synagogues and JCCs and federations face enormous pressure to take a side or stay silent, with both choices alienating someone. The result is that families grow quiet at the dinner table, communities tiptoe around conversations, Jewish institutions struggle to respond. Let's face it, human beings are difficult. We get angry and lash out. We have the instinct to dominate, cultivate, and take over when we encounter something new. This urge is so strong that we don't stop, even when it causes harm to other humans or to the plants and animal life around us. We humans are tribal. We are quick to other that which feels new or different or strange. And when we get scared, when humans get scared, we blame groups and trends that have become other for threats that feel outside our control. So of course we choose silence or avoidance over conflict. Conflict brings out the worst in most of us difficult human beings. The Midrash in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer teaches that this tension is actually baked into the very process of creation. At the moment of making humanity, a group of angels, or heavenly beings, called out to God, arguing, "What are you doing? Can't you see that this human you plan to create is both limited in days, that is short-sighted, and full of anger? Moreover, they have the capacity to sin, to make bad choices. Are you really willing to create something that may corrupt the world more than elevate it?" God listens to these voices and responds, "Is it for nothing that I am called slow to anger and abounding in love?" Which humans will be as well, created in the divine image. And so, God creates the human. I know, spoiler. But the human is created, not in spite of our failings, but because of our strengths. In this moment, we have a choice. Do we allow our community, and I'm speaking now especially about our Jewish community, to fracture, or do we find another way? Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav gives us another image that speaks to this moment. In his work, Likutei Moharan, he writes, and I know we know it slightly differently, but this is the actual quote. "V'da she'adam tzarich la'avor al gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal." Know this, every person must cross a very narrow bridge, and the most important thing is to not succumb to fear, or to never fear at all. This is a profound teaching about courage in the face of instability and uncertainty. Crossing the narrow bridge, encountering difference, instability, discomfort, Rabbi Nachman teaches, is normal. It is to be expected as part of being human. ha'adam tzarich la'avor, a person must cross. It is not the narrow bridge, however, that we're meant to avoid or to rebuild as more safe and ideologically homogeneous bridges. The thing we are meant to avoid is being overwhelmed by the fear of the discomfort of the narrow bridge. How do we do this? How can we envision a different way forward? Maybe 4 things. 1, we affirm that all voices belong. Just as the Talmud preserves minority opinions, we must make space for dissent and difference in our community. Agreement is not a prerequisite for belonging. 2, we treat dialogue as sacred practice. Lean into the image of the Beit Midrash, the house of study, a space of sharpening one's wisdom and uncovering deeper truths through encounter. And when the conversation gets hard, take a page from the students of Rabbi Hillel, who taught, quote, your interlocutor's view before offering your own. That is, shift the conversation from conquest to curiosity. 3, we anchor ourselves in evolving values. Our tradition teaches that Judaism is not static. If our ancestors could adapt through exile, emancipation, migration, then we too can adapt in response to moral imperatives like justice, equity, and peace. And 4, we resist both silence and schism. It is easy to avoid hard conversations. It is easy to walk away when we feel misunderstood. In times such as these, it is important to distinguish critique from betrayal. Loving the Jewish people does not mean silence in the face of injustice. Tochacha, offering rebuke and criticism, is a mitzvah and part of our responsibility to one another. When we call each other out, we also call each other in with love. We debate. We offer critique. We offer constructive criticism so we all can grow. But silencing an opinion is different from offering critique. Enduring community is forged through struggle, not around it. I'll say that again. Enduring community is forged through struggle, not around it. As much as debate enriches our community, the challenge in our community and in every community often comes from defining its terms. As the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot states, every argument that is for the sake of heaven will endure. What if the arguments are instead made to destroy? As a community, we can take a stand against speech that is hateful to other people, speech that harms others or places them in danger. As a community, we can insist on intellectual integrity and a commitment to facts, truth, values, and humanity. So what does this mean for us in 5786? It means that our Jewish wisdom about sacred disagreement is not simply historical text. It is a radical resource for today's fractured world. It means that when we gather at our holiday tables and beyond, we do not silence difference. We practice curiosity, humility, and the courage to listen. The shofar we blow today has many notes: tekiah, shevarim, teruah, long blasts, short blasts, broken blasts, staccato cries. None alone is sufficient. Only together do they fulfill the mitzvah. Our tradition is telling us redemption will not come from one voice, one truth, one community. Redemption will come when the broken and the whole, the loud and the quiet, the voices of the powerful and the voices of the marginalized are woven together. May this be the year in which we commit not to silencing dissent, but to sanctifying it. May we cross that narrow bridge with courage and make the coming year a year of justice, compassion, building, and courageous listening. L'Shana Tova u'Metucha.